BBC proven Mercedes-Benz
Oh,
certified.
ada kayak used car center.
This is the reason
Iya,
why
proven.
narcissists
Mobilnya apa aja?
definitely
Saat
regret
ini
their disgusting actions to
dicuri lagi
you.
ada mobil M43.
Reflecting on personal experiences,
M43.
I can affirm the
Yoi.
person with narcissistic tendencies will,
2017.
over time,
2017.
experience a sense of remorse
Ini
for
rare
neglecting
banget,
to
udah
acknowledge
ada
their
head-up
actions.
display,
The
terus
purpose of this
udah ada
video is
kursi
to delve into
pijitnya,
why a
ada
narcissist
suspension,
eventually feels regret for the impact they've had on you.
3.500.
Initially, it's crucial to understand
Udah
that,
pasti
post-breakup,
dari
individuals, whether abandoned or not, often find themselves in a state of confusion
Tapi nggak
and
cuma ini
emotional
kan, ada
distress.
beberapa
Ada
yang lainnya
beberapa.
kan.
Ruminative
Ada-
thoughts
aku ada
and
misalnya
narcissistic
beberapa sih, ada
ideals become
sewa,
consuming,
ada-
leading some to
Keuntungannya beli di
self-blame
proven
and
suri
others
motor
to
tuh apa?
grapple with conflicting
Dia masih
emotions.
warranty.
The
Kita
carefully
kan sudah
crafted
cek
social
dulu
media
semuanya
image of
juga,
a
dan-
narcissist
2017
often
kan udah
portrays
nggak
them as
warranty dong.
godlike
Iya,
figures,
tapi kondisinya
distancing
itu masih
themselves
bagus.
while avoiding accountability for their
Dijamin.
deeds.
Surat-suratnya juga lebih
However,
aman.
it's
Surat-suratnya
imperative to
dijamin
recognize
aman.
that social
Dijamin nggak
media
bekas
rarely
tambah.
reveals the underlying
nggak bekas
struggles
banjir.
individuals face.
Iya. Pasti kita cek
Similar
dulu
to the
soalnya.
concealed
Semuanya
issues
jadi memang
discussed,
tidak langsung
a
dijual,
narcissist's
tapi
regrets
dicek
remain
semuanya.
hidden
Iya,
from view.
cek dulu.
Jadi nggak ada PR
They live a
lah
double
istilahnya.
life,
Ada PR.
projecting an
Bener-bener
artificial
kayak
glow,
mobil baru aja gitu.
stealing attention,
Nah, orang
and
kalau
feigning
misalnya mau
contentment
lihat-lihat
while being
koleksinya,
genuinely
provennya
miserable.
suri motor, bisa langsung
It's
datang
vital
sini
to
atau
acknowledge
ada
that their
Instagramnya.
departure
Datang ke
poisons
sini,
connections,
nanti
leaving chaos and
divisinya yang
perpetuating
handle
disorder,
namanya Pak Hari.
obscuring the
Nanti
real
bisa
narrative.
ketemu sama Pak Hari atau
I encourage you
bisa
to
ketemu gue
engage
juga.
with the content by
Berapa nih
clicking the
tawaran?
like and subscribe
Ini,
buttons.
opennya
Your support is
1,2,
valued.
tapi negotiable.
I understand your inclination to
Iya dong,
support your
segitu ya.
sibling,
Iya.
and it only requires a brief moment of your time.
AMG pula.
However,
engine.
it seems
Real.
challenging for you to see beyond the facade the narcissist has
beli
erected.
versi baru.
The misleading
Kalau
image
beli profile
they've
atau
created
beli baru,
suggests a
info
lack
gue.
of
Tapi
concern
yang
for your
ini
well-being.
mau gue simpen dulu.
It appears as
Nggak
if
tahu
they
gue
are
simpen
progressing
atau
with a
gue
new
jual, tapi
partner, spouse,
pengen
or source of
di-
validation,
nikmati
neglecting
dulu.
the impact
Oke.
of their
Karena
actions
ini
on you,
kan,
possibly
eh,
even starting a
versi
family.
udah tua.
Recognizing
Tahun
your worth
2016
independently of the
tahun.
narcissist's
Enaknya,
assessment is
bener-bener
crucial.
Biasa sih, enak.
luar
They chose
biasa.
you for the
Nah, makanya
value
itu
and
yang mau gue
significance
jaga
you
tetap
bring,
enak dulu dari
Iya.
mulai.
either in your shared field
Siap. Tapi nanti kalau
or
misalnya
as an
gua mau cari
empathetic
Mercy baru
individual.
atau Mercy bekas, gua
Your
ke-
understanding and
Sorry,
empathy
Motor.
make you a highly
Mi,
valuable
thank you.
asset.
Makasih banyak ya, Mas.
Although the conclusion of
Ayo,
this connection
terima
may
kasih
leave you
banyak.
feeling lost and
Ayo.
confused,
Oke, saya
it's
langsung
essential to
pulang
remember
dulu.
that their
Moga-moga
initial attraction stemmed
kalau
from
misalnya,
encountering someone
moga-moga
genuine
nggak ada masalah
and
lagi. Kalau ada masalah lagi
kind-hearted.
pasti saya kesini lagi.
Even if
Oke,
errors were made
siap.
along the
Thank you
way,
ya, Mas.
Kasih.
it's probable that inadvertently reinforcing their negative beliefs about you occurred by mirroring their negative attitudes and behaviors. This mirroring serves as a natural defense mechanism. Upon introspection of your actions, you may recognize instances of unkindness or
Mau tahu
negativity,
nggak rasanya
traits you
seperti
dislike
apa
witnessing in yourself.
keluar dari suri motor itu?
However, as they disentangle
Kayak
from the
ngambil mobil
relationship
baru,
and the
kayak
chaos
saya di tahun
subsides,
2007.
genuine remorse for their actions surfaces. There seems to be a hastiness to move forward, seeking a new source of validation, forcing them to confront their reflection in isolation. It is not uncommon for two individuals to find improved terms post-separation, even with a narcissist. Complaints they previously had about you fade into the background, losing significance as they reminisce about the joyful moments and
Ngambil
positive
mobil
emotions
ini
you once
dalam
provided.
keadaan baru.
Your significant
Nggak ada
efforts
lampu peringatan
going above and
nyala,
beyond in the relationship, performing
bantingannya
acts of
langsung
kindness
empuk seperti
and providing
melayang
unwavering
awan
support
lagi.
are lightly remembered.
Dan mobil
Some
ini
even
masih
extended themselves to the
nyamannya
extent
luar
of rescuing
biasa.
them from challenging
Dan
situations or
Untung ya,
investing
saya
abundant
ke
love and
bengkel
care
resmi
into
ya,
the
jadi
relationship.
bener-bener saya tadinya
Subsequently,
tuh udah hopeless. Saya pikir
their
tuh
focus shifts
suspensinya.
back to you
Karena
as thoughts about you
suspensi udara
preoccupy
itu
them
ya
upon
cukup
finding a
mahal.
new source of
Kalau
validation.
misalnya harus diganti.
Upon reflection,
Tapi
they may feel
ternyata
regret for
hanya
past actions
sensornya
towards
saja
you.
dan block
It's
valve-nya
essential to
saja.
understand that their
Jadi
regret
ternyata
is
bisa
primarily
secara
driven by
parsial
the
gitu ya,
discomfort and guilt
nggak harus yang
stemming from how their
blok
behavior
semuanya
made them
ganti.
feel,
Dan ini,
rather than a genuine awareness of the harm caused.
terus fungsi naik
This realization
turunnya juga
burdens
sudah
them,
berfungsi.
making it challenging
Kemudian
to shake
sekarang
off
kalau
the
misalnya
weight of
kita
their
masukkan
actions.
ke sport, ke
In contrast to the
comfort,
typical
itu
behavior of a
berbeda
normal person
kekerasannya
offering
gitu. Jadi
apologies
bener-bener
or
kayak
reaching
suspensi
out,
baru lagi, nggak ada bunyi
a
di kaki
narcissist
sama sekali.
tends to move in the
Nah,
opposite
sekarang kita
direction.
bicara tentang biaya
They may
perbaikan.
redirect their
Anggap aja
attention
sebelum diskon
to
ya.
replicate the
Jadi
intimate
selain
encounters
perawatan itu,
shared with you
perbaikannya
or attempt to make the new
38
source of
juta rupiah.
validation
Sekarang kita bicara
fulfill a
biaya
role you
perbaikannya.
once played in
Oke,
their
bagi
life,
sebagian besar
even
dari
if it's
Anda pasti
merely
berpikir
for
bahwa
appearances.
38
Their efforts
juta
to
rupiah
shape
itu
you into a
adalah
fresh
angka
source
yang
of validation
sangat
become
besar
apparent,
untuk
underscoring
perbaikan
genuine regret for
sebuah
their
mobil
actions.
yang harganya
The
hanya
profound
200
sorrow
sampai
emerges
300
because
juta
once the
rupiah.
connection with you is severed, they are left entirely alone.
Yang kondisinya
They
masih
envision
bagus.
themselves abandoned
Wah,
in an
memang
inhospitable
benar.
environment, teeming with
Makanya ini yang saya
opportunistic
mau luruskan di
individuals
sini.
who might
Banyak
treat them
orang
as they
beli
have treated
mobil ini
others.
S-Class
Unfortunately,
tua
they
gitu ya,
frequently
atau mobil lain
attract
lah,
toxic
mobil mewah
personalities
yang
such as
umurnya tua,
narcissists,
itu
who exploit them
untuk
for personal gain.
mendapatkan
Even if they were to come across a
kenikmatan
decent
premium
person, they would likely
dengan
assert
harga
as
yang
much.
murah.
The individual they
mindset
encounter
yang mereka
after you,
pikir adalah
whom they deem
mindset seperti
exceptional,
membeli mobil
they are not
300
entirely over you.
jutaan rupiah.
The impact you had
Shock
on their lives
ketika
and the
biaya
consequences of their
perbaikannya
actions
itu
towards you still
sangat
linger,
mahal
rendering
kalau
them
dibandingkan
emotionally
harga mobilnya.
unprepared for anything new.
38 juta rupiah artinya
Venturing
lebih
into
dari
new
10%
territories
harga
or
mobilnya.
establishing fresh
Nah,
relationships without a
makanya
thorough
saya
recovery
selalu
process
bilang
is risky for them.
bahwa saya beli mobil ini
In a normal
dicari
breakup,
problemnya untuk
rushing into a new
memberitahukan ke
relationship
Anda
without
bahwa
complete healing
Anda
is
jangan
inadvisable.
membeli mobil ini
Yet, narcissists
kalau
tend to
memang
swiftly
Anda
move on,
butuhnya
with
mobil
thoughts
yang
of you
harga
persisting in
300
their
jutaan
minds.
rupiah.
Regrettably,
Belilah mobil
they
ini
choose someone
kalau
else
memang
over you to
kebutuhan
showcase their
Anda adalah
actions.
mobil yang canggih,
In
mobil
today's
yang
era
nyaman,
of constant online updates,
dan
they ensure their
gunakan
presence in your
sisa
social
uang
media
yang Anda
posts,
punya itu
occupying
untuk
that space in your life,
sewaktu-waktu ada
intending to convey
perbaikan,
that they are moving on.
sewaktu-waktu ada
Their entry into new
perawatan
relationships is
Karena
marked by an
untuk
optimistic
membuat
belief
mobil
that
ini
these connections
terasa
can be
seperti
used to
baru
publicly
terus,
shame their
yang
ex-partners
artinya Anda
on
harus
online
melewati
platforms.
proses
Aware that you might still be
perawatan
hurting
dan
and monitoring their
proses
online
perbaikan
activity,
yang
they
standar
derive pleasure from
seharusnya
flaunting their new
dilakukan ke
relationships in your
sebuah
face.
S-Class. Ingat, S-Class itu
Hence,
bukan
it is
mobil
crucial to adhere to the
sembarangan.
primary
S-Class
rule
itu
of
adalah
avoiding social media altogether,
salah satu mobil
effectively
ternyaman di
cutting off
dunia
all
di
channels of
setiap
communication with
generasinya
the
setiap
person in
kali dia
question.
dibuat.
Stalking their
Nah,
social media is
itu yang
discouraged, and
nggak
establishing
boleh
this as
kita
a principle is
lupakan. Jadi
essential.
mindset kita tetap
However,
kita
it
ini
is vital
mindset
to
mobil yang
recognize the
harganya
significant
1
inner
miliar
spiritual
lebih.
work that you must
Tapi
prioritize
kita
and
dapat
be
benefit,
mindful of.
kita bisa belinya
It is
dengan
imperative
harga
to
lebih
step back
murah.
and gain a broader
Total yang
perspective of the
sudah saya
situation.
habiskan ke mobil ini.
Despite the
Artinya,
narcissist's efforts to persuade you otherwise,
saya beli
removing the
waktu itu
details reveals that it
murah
is not your
sekali
fault.
karena langsung dari
They
pemiliknya.
manipulated your mind,
Jadi saya
sowing seeds of doubt.
225 juta rupiah.
It's understandable
Kemudian
that
langsung
even
ada
after
perbaikan
facing
segala
rejection
macam
from a
itu,
narcissist,
saya total
you may
sudah
continue to
sekitar
harbor
50
self-blame
juta
for
rupiah
past
dari mulai
mistakes,
instrumen,
especially if you're an
kemudian
empath.
ada
But remember,
macam-macam lah, itu ada
you are
videonya
not like
semua,
them.
itu mungkin sekitar 50
Narcissists
jutaan,
don't
artinya
dwell on the wrongs
sekitar
they've committed against you.
275 juta rupiah,
Rather,
ditambah
they focus on the adverse
perawatan
events
saya
that
nggak
have befallen
hitung
them.
ya, karena perawatan
Their
memang
constant
sesuatu yang
reflection
harus
on the
kita
negatives
keluarkan. Perbaikannya
impedes
38,
their
saya
ability
nggak
to
hitung
form a
diskonnya,
sincere connection
25
with their new source,
ditambah 38,
leading them to
artinya
fixate on the
saya sudah
situation and
mengeluarkan
shift blame
uang
onto you.
313
Nevertheless,
juta
it is
rupiah.
vital not to
Tapi
internalize
dengan
the blame they
kenyamanan
attempt to
seperti
thrust
mobil
upon you
harga
with the
1,5
assertion,
miliar rupiah, bahkan
"You're in my
banyak
head."
sekali mobil
It's
1,5
essential to
miliar rupiah
recognize that their
tidak
purported
senyaman
remorse
ini.
lacks
Ini
authenticity.
mobil yang lega, mobil
Hoovering,
yang nyaman,
an experience
dan
some of you
total
may have
walaupun dengan
encountered,
perbaikan, saya tetap merasa
typically
untung.
occurs where the
Karena mindset
narcissist is
saya
most
adalah,
vulnerable.
saya membeli sebuah
Consequently,
S-Class dengan harga
I strongly
murah.
recommend
Bukan
minimizing the
membeli
time
mobil
spent on
murah
their
dengan
social
perawatan
media
yang mahal.
and
Kalau
similar
mindset
activities
saya beli mobil
to avoid
300 juta,
unnecessary
perawatannya segini,
emotional expenditure.
saya akan merasa rugi
They are
sekali
resolute in
membeli
resolving the
mobil
situation,
ini. Tapi ketika mindset
going to
saya,
great
wah,
lengths despite
kapan
seemingly
lagi dengan total
insurmountable
313
obstacles.
juta rupiah
Despite
dapat
this,
sebuah
they made
S-Class
attempts
yang
to reach me
masih
through a
sangat
fake
nyaman dan
profile,
kondisinya masih
aiming to
seperti
hoover me back
baru.
in.
Jadi saran saya,
It is
kalau
crucial
Anda
to
beli mobil
acknowledge
seperti ini,
that they will always
siapkan
find ways to
untuk hal
hoover
tak
you
terduga.
eventually.
Siapkan mindset
These
Anda
individuals
bahwa
undergo
Anda adalah
immense
pemilik
pain,
sebuah S-Class,
incessantly
bukan
replaying
sebuah
thoughts of
mobil
you in their
300
minds.
jutaan rupiah.
Their intent
Dan
was to
kalau
inflict
mobil
pain upon
ini
you,
dirawat
and despite their
benar,
efforts to make you
dirawat
suffer,
secara benar,
they will ultimately face the
ini
consequences they
akan
deserve,
memberikan Anda
unable to form
senyum.
genuine connections with others.
Senyum, dan Anda
However,
akan merasa
they grapple
beruntung
with
dengan
forming new
dana yang Anda
bonds after
keluarkan, Anda
pursuing a new
mendapatkan
source. The
kenyamanan
presence of another person
senilai
hinders them
miliaran
from
rupiah.
establishing a profound connection.
Dan selain bengkel
As mentioned
resmi, ada
earlier
yang
in the
nanya,
video,
banyak bengkel
they desire that
alternatif.
person to be
Bengkel
just like
alternatif
you,
sekarang ada,
someone they
banyak
could
yang bagus.
manipulate.
Kenapa saya nggak ke bengkel
It's an
alternatif?
unusual dynamic,
Satu,
and they truly
tidak ada yang
constitute a
menjamin
peculiar group.
kualitasnya. Ada yang
It's
bagus,
crucial
ada
to
yang
understand
tidak.
that they
Saya
are
tidak
not
tahu mana yang
invincible
bagus,
or
mana yang tidak.
impervious,
Kalaupun yang bagus, dia
regardless
bagus
of
di
the
hal
facade
apa,
they may present in
tidak
your
bagus
mind.
di hal apa, itu
Contrary to their
harus
ostensibly
trial and
regretful
error
actions,
saya, karena saya
their
nggak
dreams
punya
remain
pengalaman. Jadi buat
unfulfilled,
orang yang nggak punya pengalaman seperti
and they do
saya,
not
dan
live
saya
happily
pengen
ever after.
yakin saja bahwa
They carry
mobil
profound
ini
regrets
ditangani
that will haunt
secara
them for the
tepat,
entirety of their
ya
lives.
walaupun mungkin secara biaya
The
lebih
realization
tinggi,
that
saya
you
bawa
are the
ke
one person they can
bengkel
never
resmi dan
reclaim will persistently haunt them.
total 313
Hence,
juta
cutting
rupiah
off their
dan
access
lebih
to
nyaman
any
dari mobil
remaining
300
resources
juta rupiah,
becomes imperative.
apapun yang ada.
Offering them subtle hints of support sporadically will yield
Nyamannya
reduced
tidak jauh
impact.
berbeda dibandingkan
The act of seclusion inflicts pain upon the
Cuma
recipients.
beda canggihnya, nyamannya.
Kindly bear with us during any silent intervals that may arise in this process. It took me 4 years to eventually encounter a Hoover.
mobilnya udah beres.
To clarify, I'm not
Saya mungkin
encouraging
akan
you
lebih
to
sering
linger
pakai mobil ini,
and
jadi
anticipate
balik
the
lagi, nggak
Hoover's
saya tinggal
occurrence.
untuk cari
Let's
masalah
eliminate
yang
the
bikin
Hoover.
tinggal, tapi saya pengen lebih sering
You
pakai
comprehend
mobil ini,
that my
walaupun
statements are
konsumsi bahan
accurate,
bakarnya memang
and the Hoover
boros,
acts
tapi
as
nggak
evidence
apa-apa,
of the
saya akan
profound
pakai
pain
lagi.
they
Terima
are
kasih buat Anda
enduring.
sudah menyaksikan ini.
Step
Terima
back
kasih
and
juga
broaden
studi
your
motor yang
perspective
sudah
on their suffering by
memberikan
peering
diskon
beyond the
dan
veil of their actions. Feel free to
membuat mobil
express
ini
your
jadi
thoughts
seperti
and
baru lagi.
viewpoints.
Jangan lupa Anda klik like
I'm
di dalam
confident
video
that
ini,
there have been
komentar
signs of their
subscribe di channel
distress.
Fitra Eri jika Anda belum follow
Given the
Instagram
feedback
saya,
I've received,
@fitra.eri,
this
dan
subject
follow
has been
Instagram
previously
Suri
addressed,
Motor. Di
so
sini
go
kalau
ahead and
misalnya
jot
ada
down
yang
your
kekurangan
opinions
lebih
for
lanjut
sharing.
mengenai perawatan
We are all
Mercedes-Benz
here
Anda,
to
atau Anda
support
ingin
one
membeli
another,
Mercedes-Benz dalam
emphasizing the
keadaan baru
importance of caring and sharing.
Terima kasih banyak Anda sudah
The following
menyaksikan.
topic
Sampai
explores the
jumpa di
intense
video
reaction of a
selanjutnya. Bye-bye.
narcissist when their ego faces a blow.
Nyamannya.
First and foremost, I want to express my gratitude for dedicating your time to watch this video. For clarity, our discussion centers solely around the narcissist. Allow me to extend my thanks for your consistent loyalty before delving into the subject. Narcissistic personality disorder typically doesn't manifest in negative emotions like anger. Potential causes may include a chemical imbalance or a head injury. Nevertheless, narcissistic fury encompasses a spectrum of behaviors, ranging from explicit displays of anger to more covert forms of aggression, like simmering resentment. When the narcissist feels their focus is diverted from more critical matters, or if they are not the center of attention as they desire, they might erupt in rage. A narcissist's hostile or extremely passive-aggressive reaction to being overlooked is understandable, witnessing their idealized self crumble. But how is this reconciled when narcissists prioritize their appearance to others? Now let's delve into the impact of narcissistic injury on the narcissist. What are their thoughts on it? Where do they go astray? Narcissistic wounds present themselves in various forms, with a range of potential outcomes. However, I will specifically address the most severe narcissistic injury and the probable response it elicits. Narcissistic wounds, or wounded ego, constitute emotional traumas that shatter the narcissist's sense of self-worth and pride. This is the customary reaction when their constructed identity is under threat. The narcissist's response might vary based on the extent of the wound, but a consistent reaction is observed regardless of the severity. For simplicity's sake, here is a common way a narcissist tends to react post-experiencing a narcissistic injury. They feel a sense of humiliation and shame, quickly overridden by a surge of rage. The narcissist resorts to extreme measures to seek revenge. Forgiving wrongs becomes impossible for narcissists, irrespective of severity. Their broken state prohibits them from feigning tolerance any longer. Therefore, it matters little whether they admit fault. They are currently scheming revenge against you. The smear campaign is their preferred method of retribution, conducted covertly or in broad daylight. Even if a narcissist recently insulted you, they might change their demeanor and act kindly afterward. I am not exclusively referring to the enduring smear campaign. There exist narcissistic wounds capable of propelling the narcissist towards even more drastic actions. Beyond that, there exists a blow that can permanently destabilize a narcissist. It's a strike where their sense of self-worth and dignity crumbles right before their eyes, leaving them overwhelmed by guilt upon confronting the truth about themselves. Various factors can drive a narcissist to the brink, all intertwined with their deepest wounds. These events inflict the most profound damage on a narcissist's fragile psyche. In this presentation, I extensively discussed the three factors that inflict the most harm on a narcissist: abandonment, exposure, and insult. Individuals proficient in employing all three strategies simultaneously pose the greatest threat to narcissists. The narcissist may then become fixated on annihilating this individual, or out of fear, may opt to steer clear of the middle costs. In the latter scenario, a mere glance from the person who inflicted harm could prompt the narcissist to drop their facade. They can no longer sustain the pretense of liking the other person, and must acknowledge that they do not. Ideally, they may wish harm upon them. The repercussions of a narcissistic injury are most profoundly felt by narcissists and those with extreme personalities. The subsequent actions of the narcissist hinge on the intensity of their emotions at that moment. It's plausible that their fear might lead them to believe they are irreparably trapped. They are more likely to flee, pretending nothing transpired, even if they eventually admit their faults, seek assistance, and meet with failure. If the narcissist harbors such profound hatred that cannot be rationalized away, they might resort to extreme measures like hiring someone to harm the other person or casting a curse upon them. if they can manipulate someone else into doing their bidding and evade consequences, nothing would hinder a narcissist from executing their malicious plan. A narcissist's darker side emerges in the aftermath of being hurt. They may appear helpless in their attempts to win you over, yet this is merely a tactic to divert attention from their true motives. By delving deep, you can discern the depth of their resentment if you possess expertise. They will candidly reveal their perspective, showcasing the extent of their animosity. When a narcissist experiences an injury, they undergo a broad range of adverse emotions. Usual feelings include fear, fury, anger, and humiliation. This only serves to deepen the narcissist's inherent negativity. The combined impact of rejection, shame, and mockery becomes overwhelming for a narcissist to endure. Narcissistic injuries prove to be irreversible, and this instance is no different. Narcissists are disagreeable individuals to be in the company of because each insult they encounter exacerbates their self-perception. If a narcissist cannot retaliate, they may become unhinged and resort to violence. Forgiveness or moving beyond the pain they've inflicted doesn't concern narcissists. Their likelihood of positive change diminishes with age, as they tend to cling to grudges and denial. Providing space is advisable when someone's pride has been wounded. Regardless, I trust you gained some insights from this video. Share a moment when you had to navigate the aftermath of bruising a narcissist's ego. I look forward to engaging with you again. Feel free to share your questions or thoughts in the comment section below. Click the bell icon to subscribe to our channel if you found this video enjoyable and wish to access more similar content in the future. Your time and engagement are genuinely valued.
Tapi kalau kita mau naikin volume atau ngecilin, harus pencet tengah dulu baru bisa dikecilin di sini. Jadi ada 2 kali tahap gitu loh.